Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm going to be going over my simple process to learn how to practice playing fast. This process isn't only for learning how to practice playing fast, but really practice playing any line of music where you're trying to break it down into smaller, more manageable parts so that you can put it together and play the whole thing seamlessly. Just before I get into it though, if you haven't yet watched my free masterclass called The Best Way to Create Melodic Solos, please go down into the description below, click the link at the top of it, and watch it for free. It's a 40-minute masterclass where I go into detail on my 6-step voice leading process. It also comes with 9 pages of PDFs that correspond with the video for you to download and follow along. So many people have already watched it and started improving their playing, so if you haven't yet watched it, start improving your playing today. Go to the description down below, click the link at the top, and watch it for free. So like I said at the very beginning, this process I'm going to go through is not exclusive to playing fast, but it really helps when you're playing a piece of written music that happens to be fast. The reason is, when you're playing fast, people have a tendency to just try to get through it as quick as possible, start at the beginning each time until they make a mistake, try to correct it, and keep going. This can work and you can learn the line, but I think there's a much more efficient way to play correctly. I have a lot of sayings, and one of them that I say all the time is, practice makes permanent. How that applies here is every time you play something, you're developing a finger pattern or a slide position pattern if you're playing trombone, something like that. You're developing a physical pattern to play the music. That is whether it's correct or incorrect. So think about this. If you just start at the beginning and try to play it and mess up, then you start at the beginning, you play it, mess up, you're developing incorrect habits. This process I'm going to show you will help you get to those correct habits quickly, and it's going to help you learn the piece of music evenly throughout it instead of always just starting at the beginning. The written example I'm going to use for this video is the song Donna Lee by Charlie Parker. I think it's a perfect song for this example because the melody is very notey. It's a bebop melody with lots of eighth notes and some triplets, and it's usually played pretty fast. For this example, I'm actually only going to be going over the first 4 measures of the melody, but you can apply this process to the entire song or any song you're learning. The first thing you're going to want to do is look at the piece of music that you're trying to learn and break it into small chunks. As you see here, the melody in the first 4 bars starts on beat 3 of measure 1, and the first phrase really ends on the and of 1 of measure 4. And that's the section we're going to be looking at for this example. When breaking up a line into chunks, you can really do it any way you want with any amount of notes, but with this song, with there being a bunch of eighth notes and eighth note triplets, I'm going to do 2 full beats for each chunk. If you're playing something that has a bunch of 16th notes, you might want to do just 1 full beat for each chunk, so it's 4 16th notes, but really your mileage may vary. Now it's time to number each chunk. Because the melody starts on beat 3, that's the first chunk, so beat 3 and 4 of the first measure. Then the second measure, beats 1 and 2, that would be chunk 2. Beats 3 and 4, that would be chunk 3. Then the third measure, beats 1 and 2, that'd be chunk 4. Beats 3 and 4, that'd be chunk 5. And then finally, just those last 2 eighth notes would be the 6th chunk of this line. Now when you go to practice it, you're going to start on chunk 1. I know I talked a little negatively earlier in the video about always starting at the beginning, but don't worry, we're not always going to start here. We're just starting here first. This video is only talking about my process when playing these lines and how I've taught it and how I've practiced it to really help me and my students. I'm not going into the details of how slow to practice it with a metronome or not, anything like that, because that is a separate thing. This is just about my process with these chunks. One really important thing when you play each of these chunks is start on that chunk, but go to the first note of the next chunk. So for this example, we're going to start on beat 3 of measure 1, but we're going to end on beat 1 of measure 2. That would be the first note of chunk 2. The reason why we do this is to have continuity and to get to a resolution point. So here we go, I'm going to play chunk 1. Once you feel like you have that under your fingers at whatever speed you desire, then you're going to go on to chunk 2. So we're going to start on the downbeat of 1 of measure 2, and like I said, we're going to play that entire chunk, so that's 4 eighth notes, but we're also going to add the downbeat of the next chunk, so that would be the downbeat of beat 3. Here's what chunk 2 sounds like. Once you play through that a few times and you get it under your fingers, you get up to speed, now you're going to combine chunks 1 and 2 together. And yes, when you get to the end of chunk 2, you're still going to go into that next downbeat, which is the first note of chunk 3. So here's what 1 and 2 sounds like. Okay, now we have chunks 1 and 2. Should we just add chunk 3 now? No. What you're going to do is now start on chunk 3. In this case, chunk 3 starts on the downbeat of 3 of measure 2, and we're going to go into the downbeat of 1 of measure 3. So here's what chunk 3 sounds like. Now, should we just put it all together? Not yet. We have one more step before that. We're going to play chunks 2 and 3 together now. And here's what that sounds like. Now we're going to go back and put 1, 2, and 3 together. What do you think we do next? That's right, we start on chunk 4 and go to the downbeat of chunk 5. Now let's go back one and we'll play 3 and 4 together. Let's go back one more, play 2, 3, and 4 together. Now let's play 1, 2, 3, and 4, going into the downbeat of the 5th chunk. Now we're going to do chunk 5 into chunk 6, and because chunk 6 is only 2 eighth notes, I'm just going to kind of combine that into chunk 5. So chunk 5 and 6. Now 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And finally, the entire line, chunks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in a row. All right, is this process groundbreaking? No. Is it legendary? No. But did it help me really learn lines better and more efficiently? Yes. Did it help my students learn written music and lines more efficiently and quicker? Yes. Will it help you learn lines more efficiently and quicker? Yes. The biggest reason I love this process of learning written music is that you're starting at different times, but you're still putting the entire line together. You're not only starting at the beginning every time and then getting really good at the beginning and then just adding on what you're worst at or the part you haven't practiced the most at the end. By starting at different spots, you're also training yourself to not always rely on what came before it in order to play the current thing correctly. If you know you can start on chunk 5, for example, and play to chunk 8, you know that if you play from 1 to 4 and get into chunk 5, that next part will take off. And then because you're going through this whole process, you can start at any chunk you want and be as confident starting there as you are the beginning. If you've never gone through this specific process before, try it out for yourself and let me know how it goes for you. If you have any specific topics you'd like to see me teach on this channel for you, completely free, please let me know in the comments down below. Just a reminder, if you haven't yet watched my free masterclass, The Best Way to Create Melodic Solos, the link to that is in the top of the description down below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I just want to make smooth jazz videos. Oh, hey, you're still here. I have a little sneak peek surprise for you. On February 15th, in a couple weeks from filming this right now, my Simple Steps workshop, completely free, is opening up again. So please stay tuned for that. I'm going to be notifying everybody when it comes out, but I just wanted to give you a heads up to look for that and really get excited for that 3-part, completely free video workshop. See you there.